More than 60 countries are struggling to afford importing food.
That's according to a leaked UN email obtained by Politico.
A special UN task force found the issue stems from high prices for food imports and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Even with grain now leaving Ukraine, it has not reached many countries in need. And for more on this, Eddie Wax joins us now. He's a reporter for Politico Europe. Hi, Eddie. Great to see you. So you have been reporting on this leaked UN email on food imports. Walk us through some of the reasons so many countries are struggling to afford food right now.
Well, it's a combination of many factors made much worse by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February. Now the war has dragged on for 6 months, and that means you've got two breadbaskets of the world attacking each other, and that has driven up food prices. And on top of all the post-pandemic economic strife that we've seen and inflation, with the cost of energy being high, the cost of doing international logistics being very high as well, all of that is coming together in a sort of incredible chaotic mess, which has made it much harder for developing countries to import food.
And I mean, what has been the impact of the Russia-Ukraine grain deal so far on all of this? Has there been any?
There has been an impact, and it is a tangible impact, so we mustn't underplay it too much. And that's in the sense that the sense of positivity and optimism that 20 million tons of grain that Russia has effectively blockaded inside Ukraine could now come out on ships over the 4 months that this agreement is scheduled to last. However, of course, it's much more complicated than that. There's mines floating in the sea, all these under the deal, all the ships that come in and out need to be inspected and checked by, the UN and by Turkey, Russia, Ukraine. So it's taking a long time to ramp up the exports and actually get those grains out of the country. And we've only seen about 14 or so ships coming out so far, and we haven't seen any humanitarian food aid coming out quite yet.
Wow. So looking forward, what is the UN planning to do? What can the UN do, really, beyond this Ukrainian grain deal to address the international food crisis?
Well, they've had a strong message so far, which is mostly focused on international trade and the need to make sure that borders stay open, that trade can flow freely. There was a World Trade Organization agreement not to impose any kind of blockages and restrictions on the trade on the purchasing of humanitarian food aid. So, for example, the UN's World Food Programme should be free to buy food from wherever and move it wherever it wants and wherever it needs to go. But ultimately, we have to see the best thing that could happen, I suppose, from a UN perspective, is that the deal which they managed to broker and which really was a very good diplomatic achievement on their part should stay alive and keep going. But it's looking very rocky. I mean, Russia could blow it up at any time with an errant missile or attacking Odessa's harbor again. So we have to see. But from the UN's perspective, the deal carrying on is probably the best possible solution.
The deal is hopeful if it can be followed through with. All right. Well, Eddie Wax, thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.